The great council chamber of the United Galactic Alliance was filled with beings of every shape, color, and size. Some had scales that shimmered like molten metal, others had skin that glowed faintly, and some had multiple limbs that moved gracefully as they gestured and whispered among themselves. At the center of all this alien grandeur sat the humans, small, plain-looking, yet somehow impossible to ignore. The air was thick with tension, as if the very stars outside the chamber had stopped moving to watch what would happen next. Admiral Kara Voss of Earth sat tall, her uniform crisp, her hands resting lightly on the polished table. She did not fidget. She did not glance around nervously. Her eyes, steady and unflinching, met the gaze of the massive alien Supreme Chancellor sitting across from her. The Chancellor's 6 eyes studied her with suspicion, curiosity, and perhaps a little contempt. "Humanity," the Chancellor began, his voice low and vibrating like distant thunder. "You ask for peace, yet your record is filled with rebellion, conflict, and chaos. Why should the galaxy trust you now?" Kara's voice was calm, carrying across the hall like a gentle tide. "Because we have learned. Because we have survived. Because we know that no species can thrive in a galaxy filled with fear and mistrust. We come not for conquest, not for dominance, but for understanding. We come to show that humanity can choose peace." A ripple of murmurs spread across the chamber. Many aliens whispered to one another. They were powerful, experienced in war and diplomacy. Yet these humans, this young, untested species, spoke with a quiet strength that made even the most confident delegate pause. Yet the council was a place of pride and politics, and pride often outweighed reason. A single alien delegate, a towering figure covered in armored plates, slammed a claw on the table. Sparks flickered from the contact, and the room fell silent in shock. "Enough of your words," he shouted. "We cannot trust your kind. Do you think yourselves equals to centuries-old empires? Foolish mortals." Kara's jaw tightened, but her voice did not waver. "We do not demand equality. We demand acknowledgement of what we can do, of what we have already survived. Underestimate humanity if you must, but know this: we are not weak. We are not harmless, and we will not be ignored." The tension in the room thickened. The air seemed to vibrate with anger, fear, and disbelief. What had started as a peaceful negotiation now teetered on the edge of disaster. The Supreme Chancellor raised all 6 eyes toward the ceiling, sighing in frustration, and finally banged a fist on the table. The room erupted in chaos. Voices shouted, claws and tentacles gestured wildly, and holographic displays flickered as delegates argued and insulted one another. Kara remained seated, silent, watching the collapse of what she had hoped would be the first true peace talks between humanity and the galactic powers. Her heart ached, not from fear but from disappointment. She had come here believing in the possibility of understanding, in the chance for humans to step out from the shadow of their reputation and show the galaxy who they truly were. And yet all that hope now seemed to hang by a thread. Outside the chamber, the stars twinkled indifferently, unaware of the human struggles below. But Kara knew that the galaxy was watching, whether it wanted to or not. She could feel it in the whispers, in the stares, and in the subtle calculations behind alien eyes. Humanity's story was about to take a new turn, one that no one in the council chamber could yet imagine. Even as the peace talks crumbled into bitter words and threats, Kara whispered to herself almost as a vow, "If they will not see us as partners, they will see us as what we truly are." Humanity does not back down. Humanity survives. And somewhere deep within her, a spark of determination ignited, a spark that would not be extinguished by pride, arrogance, or fear. The galaxy might laugh at humanity today, but Kara knew with every beat of her heart that the humans were ready to show the stars what it truly meant to face them with courage. Across the void of space, news of the peace talks' collapse reached Earth in an instant. Holofeeds flickered in every home, colony, and city, showing the same images over and over. Alien delegates shouting, holographic displays sparking, and humans sitting calmly in the middle of chaos. Children stared, wide-eyed. Soldiers paused. Civilians held their breath. Humanity had stepped onto the galactic stage, and the galaxy had rejected their hand of peace. President Elias Wren stood in the Grand Council Hall of Earth's capital. Behind him, massive screens displayed the unfolding events, the words "Peace Talks Fail" flashing across every display. His eyes, deep and steady, scanned the faces of humans gathered before him. Fear lingered, but so did something stronger: determination. For centuries, humanity had faced threats: natural disasters, war, famine, and disease, and each time they had survived. Now the galaxy itself challenged them. Ren raised his voice, calm but powerful, and spoke so that every human listening, whether on Earth or distant colonies, could hear. We came for peace. The galaxy refused it. But we will not hide. We will not bow. Humanity has endured countless trials, and we have never surrendered. Let every star know this. Earth stands ready, and humanity will be seen and respected. Across orbit, the human fleet stirred. Ships of all sizes, once scattered across the solar system, began moving into formation. Carriers, destroyers, and battlecruisers ignited their engines, leaving trails of blue fire that shimmered against the black canvas of space. Each vessel carried the story of humanity, its victories, its losses, and its unbreakable spirit. Pilots, engineers, and crew prepared not with hatred but with a sense of purpose. Humanity would not strike first, yet they would not be ignored. In orbit above Mars, a young pilot named Jara Singh gripped the controls of her fighter, her knuckles white. She was only 19, but her heart burned with pride. They think we are small, weak, unworthy, she whispered to herself, staring at the massive fleet gathering beneath the Martian sky. We'll show them we are neither. We'll show them what it means to be human. On alien worlds, whispers turned into panic. Intelligence networks and spies spread the news. Earth's fleet was not just present. It was vast, organized, and ready. Many aliens had long assumed that humans were a minor threat, a primitive species whose wars were contained to a single system. They had not seen unity like this before. They had not seen coordination, bravery, or the willingness to risk everything for the survival and recognition of their kind. Back on Earth, President Ren's voice carried across the planet, a clarion call to all humanity. We do not seek war. We seek acknowledgement. We seek a place among the stars where humanity is no longer underestimated. We fight not because we wish to destroy, but because we refuse to be ignored. Every human, from the youngest child watching in awe to the veteran admiral overseeing the fleet, felt the weight of the moment. History was being written, not on paper but in the stars themselves. Humanity's time of hiding was over. For centuries they had watched alien empires grow, wondered what their place would be, and now, at last, they were stepping forward. And yet amid the pride, there was caution. Caravos, now aboard the lead flagship of the fleet, stared at the distant stars with quiet determination. She knew the galaxy would respond, some with fear, some with curiosity, and some with aggression. We show them who we are, she whispered, her eyes burning with resolve. Not through war alone, but through courage, unity, and the refusal to yield. Let them see humanity as it truly is. The fleet's engines roared to life. Lights shimmered like 1,000 suns, reflecting off the planets and asteroids in orbit. Humanity was moving forward, not blindly, but with purpose. And across the stars, where countless eyes watched, a message went out. Earth had arrived. Humanity had arrived. The galaxy would never look at them the same again. The human fleet moved like a river of steel and light through the darkness of space. Thousands of ships, from massive carriers to small agile fighters, formed a pattern of precision that stunned even the most experienced alien observers. Every vessel glowed with readiness, engines pulsing rhythmically, as if the entire fleet breathed as one. For humanity, this was more than a display of strength. It was a declaration. They were here, and they would not be ignored. Across the void, the lead alien fleet waited. Towering warships bristled with weapons that could destroy planets, their surfaces shimmering with energy shields. The aliens had underestimated humanity before. They had assumed the humans were fragile, scattered, and inexperienced. Now they were beginning to understand their mistake. Even the youngest of human ships moved with a confidence that only came from knowing who you were and why you fought. Admiral Kara Voss stood on the bridge of the flagship Resolute, her hands clasped behind her back. She surveyed the formation of her fleet, feeling a mixture of pride and tension. Remember, she said, her voice calm yet firm over the comms, we did not come to provoke. We came to be seen. Our goal is recognition, not destruction. Stay sharp but stay disciplined. Her words carried across the fleet, reaching every pilot, every engineer, every soldier. The human crews knew that this was a test not only of skill but of character. The galaxy was watching, and humanity's actions now would define how they were seen for generations to come. A tense silence stretched across the void. Then from the lead alien flagship, a message crackled through comm channels. It was formal, cold, and unmistakably authoritative. "Humans," the alien voice boomed, "identify yourselves. Why have you entered this sector in such force? Are you here to negotiate or to fight?" Kara straightened, meeting the gaze of the officer beside her. She took a deep breath and pressed the comm button. "We are here to show ourselves, not to strike first. Humanity comes with clarity and courage. We seek acknowledgement, and we will not hide in fear. Our presence alone should prove that we are a species worthy of attention." The aliens paused. For a moment, no one spoke. The humans were calm, composed, and unafraid. Many alien commanders had expected panic, chaos, or desperation, but none of those things came. Humanity's confidence was like a blade, cutting through assumptions and fear. Still, the lead alien admiral was cautious. "We will observe," the voice finally said. "Do not make sudden movements. We do not wish to escalate this conflict without cause." Kara nodded silently. The human fleet held position, engines glowing faintly, weapons armed but not firing. Every ship mirrored the movements of the flagship, moving as one with silent discipline. It was a display of unity that no alien fleet had ever seen from humanity. Among the alien observers, whispers spread quickly. "They are organized, disciplined, fearless." Another voice, trembling slightly, added, "Could they actually fight with such coordination?" On the bridge of the Resolute, Kara allowed herself a small, proud smile. "This is just the beginning," she whispered. "They are seeing us now, but they do not yet understand us. And when they do, the galaxy will never underestimate humanity again." Meanwhile, in the cockpits of hundreds of fighters, young pilots gripped their controls, hearts racing with both excitement and nervousness. For some, it was their first encounter with an alien fleet. For others, it was the culmination of years of training, but all felt the same surge of emotion: awe, fear, and an unshakable pride. Above all, the humans understood something the aliens still underestimated. Courage was not the absence of fear. Courage was standing firm, together, in the face of the unknown. And in this moment, humanity was showing the galaxy exactly what that meant. The stars seemed to shine a little brighter around the fleet, as if bearing witness to the arrival of a species that refused to hide. The first encounter had begun, and humanity had already made its mark. The silence of space was shattered in an instant. Without warning, a massive alien warship unleashed a torrent of energy blasts toward the human fleet. Explosions rippled across the void, and the dark, endless sky was painted with brilliant flashes of red and gold. Alarms screamed aboard every human ship, warning of incoming strikes. Young pilots gripped their controls, eyes wide with shock and fear. Fires erupted on some smaller vessels, while others spun dangerously out of control. But humanity did not falter. Amid the chaos, a voice cut through the comms. Admiral Karavas's calm, commanding tone. "Hold your positions. Focus on coordination. We do not retreat." The human fleet responded with disciplined precision. Countermeasures activated, energy shields flared, and defensive drones surged out from carriers. Fighters swarmed the attacking alien ships, dodging blasts with grace and hitting weak points that even the aliens had not anticipated. Humanity's response was not fueled by anger, but by unwavering determination. Every pilot, engineer, and crew member moved as though guided by the same heartbeat. Jara Singh, the young pilot from Mars, felt her hands shake as she maneuvered through a deadly hail of energy. A nearby destroyer had taken a direct hit and was spinning, its crew screaming for help. Jara dove into the chaos, weaving between explosions, and docked with the damaged ship just in time. Her heart pounded, but she felt a surge of pride. "We do not abandon each other," she whispered, echoing the words taught to every human in the fleet. "We survive together." On the flagship Resolute, Kara watched with steady eyes, though her heart beat faster than she would admit. The alien fleet had expected fear, chaos, and retreat. Instead, they saw humans fighting not recklessly, but with calculated courage. Each ship that survived, each fighter that returned to formation, sent a clear message: humanity was not fragile, and humanity was not to be underestimated. The alien commander, observing from his massive bridge, could not hide his shock. "How?" he muttered, voice trembling. "They are young. inexperienced, yet coordinated, fearless. But fear did not stop the humans. Even as explosions rocked nearby ships, the fleet adapted. New formations emerged, flanking the alien attackers. Engineers aboard carriers redirected energy to shields where it was needed most. Weapons locked onto targets with deadly accuracy. Humanity's response was both fluid and unyielding, a display of strategy and resilience the galaxy had never seen from them before. Amid the fire and chaos, human medics and repair crews moved swiftly. Fires were doused, hull breaches patched, and wounded soldiers were treated with skill and compassion. The fleet was not just surviving, it was thriving in adversity, proving that strength was more than firepower. It was unity, courage, and an unbreakable spirit. Kara's voice rang out again, calm and unwavering. We endure, we adapt, and we rise. Every word carried across the fleet, reaching young pilots like Jara, hardened veterans, and even the engineers deep in the hulls. The human message was clear: they did not cower. They did not despair. They did not surrender. The alien fleet, stunned by the humans' unexpected resilience, hesitated. Their attacks became cautious, slower, less confident. What had been intended as a test, a way to intimidate and dominate, was now revealing the true nature of humanity. The galaxy was witnessing not just survival, but courage, honor, and resolve that transcended fear. In the midst of destruction, humanity shone. The young pilot Jara, the medics tending to the wounded, the engineers rerouting power, and Admiral Voss guiding the fleet, all showed that humanity's strength was more than weapons. It was in their spirit, in their unity, and in their refusal to bow to intimidation. The first act of aggression had ended, and humanity stood tall amidst the debris of battle. The galaxy had seen their courage, and even the aliens who had launched the attack could no longer dismiss them as weak. Humanity had passed the test, not by destroying everything before them, but by surviving, fighting smart, and showing the galaxy the heart of their people, the void of space. Once filled with tension and fear, now seemed charged with something new. Humanity had faced its first test against the galaxy's mightiest fleets and survived. The news spread across star systems like wildfire. Alien empires previously dismissive of humans were forced to reconsider. Humanity was no longer a minor species. They were a force of courage, strategy, and unyielding spirit. On the bridge of the flagship Resolute, Admiral Kara Voss surveyed her fleet. The ships, though bearing scars of battle, moved with quiet confidence. Fires had been extinguished, hulls repaired, and fighters returned to formation. The fleet now symbolized more than military power. It symbolized humanity itself, disciplined, brave, and united. We've shown them our strength, Kara said softly to her officers. But strength alone is not enough. They must understand who we are, and that means showing not just our weapons, but our honor. Back on Earth, President Elias Wren addressed the people in a broadcast that reached every colony, every station, every listening human. His voice carried pride, caution, and resolve. The galaxy has seen us. They have underestimated us for too long, and now they know the truth. Humanity endures and humanity rises. But our victory is not in destruction. It is in the courage, unity, and principles we have shown. We fight to be acknowledged, not feared. Across the stars, alien fleets hesitated. Whispers of confusion and admiration spread among commanders. These humans, they are different than we believed, one alien muttered, tentacles trembling slightly. They fight with honor, they protect their own, and they do not yield. Perhaps we misjudged them. Some alien factions, previously eager to exploit human weakness, began sending emissaries. Messages of negotiation, of cautious curiosity floated through space. They sought to understand, to communicate, and, for the first time, to treat humanity as equals rather than obstacles. Humanity had become more than a nuisance. They were a species that demanded recognition. Yet Kara knew that respect could not be demanded. It had to be earned. Prepare for contact, she told her officers. Some may come in peace, some may test us again. We must be ready for both, but always hold to our principles. Humanity is not just ships and weapons. Humanity is courage, honor, and unity. In the midst of the fleet, young pilots like Jara Singh felt a new energy surge through them. They had faced fire, death, and chaos, and survived. They had seen comrades risk everything to save one another. And they had learned a lesson older than any human civilization. True strength comes from standing together, Even when the odds seem impossible, the aliens who had watched humanity closely began to realize that fear alone could not dictate the galaxy's future. Some began to admire human strategy, their calm in chaos and their compassion toward their own people. It was a revelation. Humans were not just a species of survival. They were a species of determination, honor, and heart. Admiral Voss allowed herself a moment of quiet reflection. She remembered the peace talks, the collapse of hopes, the insults and disbelief in the council chamber. Humanity had sought peace first, but the galaxy had refused. And yet, that refusal had brought out the very best in them. Humanity's true character had been revealed not in calm times, but in fire, in courage, and in unwavering resolve. The turning point was clear. The galaxy could no longer ignore Earth. Humanity's presence was undeniable, its unity unbreakable and its spirit impossible to dismiss. The humans had proven they were not to be trifled with, not by arrogance, not by pride, not by the vast fleets of older empires. As the stars stretched endlessly ahead, Kara spoke quietly to herself. They see us now. They will never forget what humanity can do. We came for peace, yes, but we have shown them something far more powerful, who we truly are. Across the galaxy, fleets paused. Observers watched, and messages of caution, respect, and curiosity flowed toward Earth. Humanity's arrival had shifted the balance. The turning point had come not through conquest, but through courage, unity, and unyielding spirit. And the galaxy for the first time began to see humans as they truly were. The void of space was quiet now, yet it was filled with a new tension, one of acknowledgement rather than fear. Humanity's fleet, though battered in some places, moved with steady precision. Each ship, each fighter, each crew member carried the story of a species that had endured, adapted, and refused to be ignored. The galaxy was finally seeing humans for who they truly were. Admiral Kara Voss stood on the bridge of the flagship Resolute, her hands clasped behind her back. She watched the alien fleets cautiously withdraw from aggressive positions. Some had been watching humanity closely, assessing whether their courage and discipline were true or only fleeting. Now many began sending cautious signals seeking dialogue, negotiation, or at the very least understanding. Humanity had passed the first test, the test of fire. A communication ping echoed across the bridge. Kara's officers looked at the screen with surprise. It was a direct hail from an alien admiral, known across multiple systems as fierce, proud, and almost impossible to impress. Kara pressed the button and the massive figure appeared on the view screen. Its eyes, gleaming like molten metal, stared at her intently. "Humans," the admiral said, voice deep and measured. "We misjudged your species. We thought you weak, chaotic, and unworthy of consideration. We see now. You are disciplined, courageous, and honorable. You fight not for destruction, but for principle. That is remarkable." Kara allowed herself a small, proud smile. "We do not seek praise," she replied calmly. "We seek acknowledgement. Humanity wishes only to be seen and respected. If we have shown you our courage and unity, then we are already one step closer to understanding." Across the fleet, young pilots and soldiers felt a swell of pride. This was not just a victory of strategy or firepower. It was a victory of spirit. Humanity had arrived not as conquerors, but as a species whose strength was in its courage, its compassion, and its refusal to be underestimated. Even the smallest acts, saving a wounded ally, protecting civilians, maintaining order amid chaos, had spoken louder than weapons ever could. On Earth, President Elias Wren addressed the people again, his voice carrying through colonies and stations alike. "The galaxy is beginning to see us as we are," he said, pride and relief woven into every word. "They see our courage. They see our unity. They see our heart. This is not a victory through fear, but through the truth of who we are. Humanity has arrived, and the stars will remember us." Back in the command centers of alien fleets, whispers spread. Some aliens were cautious but curious. Others were genuinely impressed. "They are disciplined," one tentacled officer murmured.
"They value each life."
"They fight together. Perhaps we underestimated them. Dangerously so." Kara turned to her crew, her voice carrying authority and warmth. "Today we have earned something far more important than fear. We have earned respect. The galaxy may test us again, but they will never dismiss humanity lightly. Our presence alone speaks volumes." In the quiet corners of the fleet, Medics tended to the wounded, engineers repaired damaged systems, and pilots checked their ships with steady hands. Each person felt it, a moment of recognition, of pride, of validation. Humanity had fought, survived, and stood tall, and now the galaxy had no choice but to acknowledge them. As Kara gazed at the stars stretching endlessly before them, she felt a profound sense of hope. Humanity had arrived in a galaxy that had doubted them, dismissed them, and ignored them. And yet they were here, united and unbroken. Their courage had been tested, and it had shone brightly. Some alien emissaries began to approach with proposals for dialogue and cooperation. Others merely watched, cautious but respectful. Humanity's story was being rewritten in real time, not as a species of chaos and rebellion, but as a species of resilience, honor, and heart. The moment of respect had come. The galaxy had begun to see humans, not as weaklings to be ignored, but as equals worthy of attention and consideration. Humanity had survived the test of fire, and the stars themselves seemed to shine a little brighter, acknowledging their presence, their courage, and their spirit. The stars stretched endlessly before humanity's fleet, sparkling like diamonds against the black canvas of space. The human ships, though worn from battle, moved with grace and purpose. For the first time in history, the galaxy could no longer ignore Earth. Humanity had arrived, not with threats alone, but with courage, unity, and undeniable presence. Admiral Kara Voss stood on the bridge of the flagship Resolute, her gaze fixed on the distant stars. Around her, the fleet moved in perfect formation, engines glowing softly. The moment felt heavy with significance. They had come for peace, yet the galaxy had initially rejected them. They had faced fire, chaos, and disbelief, but through it all, humanity had proven itself. They had survived, and in doing so, they had earned the respect of those who had doubted them. Messages of cautious congratulations flowed in from alien emissaries. Some spoke of curiosity and dialogue, others of alliances that had been previously unimaginable. Humanity had changed the way the galaxy viewed them, not as a minor species to be dismissed, but as equals, as a force of courage, and as a people who would stand unbroken no matter the odds. President Elias Wren appeared in a live broadcast to every human across Earth and the colonies. His voice was calm, proud, and filled with emotion. We sought peace, and we were denied. But through our courage, our unity, and our honor, we have been recognized. Humanity has shown the galaxy that we are here to stay, not as conquerors, but as equals. The stars themselves have witnessed our resolve. In the cockpits of countless fighters, young pilots like Jara Singh felt a swell of pride and wonder. They had seen the fleet fight, adapt, and endure. They had watched their comrades risk everything for one another. And now the galaxy had begun to understand what humanity truly was, not reckless or chaotic, but strong, disciplined, and honorable. On the Resolute, Kara turned to her officers. "We did not come to show fear or dominance. We came to reveal who we are," she said quietly. "And now the galaxy has seen it. This is only the beginning. They will never underestimate humanity again." Across alien command bridges, whispers of awe spread. Some could not believe the young species had withstood their fire and emerged not broken but stronger. "They are extraordinary," one alien muttered. "Their courage, their unity, we may have judged them all wrong." The human fleet slowly turned back toward home. Each ship carried not only crew and equipment but a message to the galaxy. Humanity was united, resilient, and here to remain. It was a fleet of peace and strength, a testament to a species that refused to be diminished. As the ships passed through the Orion Rift, the stars themselves seemed to celebrate. The glow of distant suns reflected off hulls, casting a brilliant light across space. Kara felt a lump in her throat as she watched the younger crew members, still wide-eyed from the trials they had faced. "We have arrived," she whispered, "and we will not be ignored." Back on Earth, children looked to the skies with awe. Soldiers and engineers felt pride coursing through their veins. Humanity had faced the galaxy and had been recognized, not because they demanded it, but because they had earned it. Their courage, their honor, and their unity had written a new chapter in the history of the stars. And in that moment, the galaxy knew a truth it could no longer deny. Humanity was not a species to be underestimated. They were survivors, warriors, thinkers, and dreamers. They were united by spirit and purpose. And the stars themselves seemed to shine a little brighter for the presence of humanity. Admiral Kara Voss took a deep breath, feeling the weight and the hope of what they had accomplished. "We came for peace," she said, her voice strong and steady. "They refused it. But we have shown them something far greater, who we are. And now, the galaxy will never be the same again. Humanity had arrived. The stars had witnessed it, and a new dawn had begun.